Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're doing the last of the Pyrian tribes, Icewings. And I think this turned out pretty cool, if you know what I mean. Anyways, when I draw Icewings, I'm always going for tall, angular, elegant bodies. They just seem like a very regal tribe, and I feel like that's something they all have in common. So I make sure to incorporate plenty of loose, thin, S-shaped arches and curls. I like to give them long legs and tails, too, to help drive home the silhouette. Like those fancy dog breeds that are all skinny and tall and snooty. So usually I start by doing my sketch, then I'll roughen the scales. A good trick I learned from a tutorial Biohazardia did is that when you're drawing rows of scales like this, draw a line down your dragon's neck where you want the midpoint of your scales to be. Then just follow that line down with your sketch. You'd be surprised how much this helps you keep your scales uniform and heading in the right direction. Generally, I'll do 2 rows of scales, one along the spine, which is basically just a row of short lines. Then, going off of that row, I'll do a row of diamond or triangle shapes, depending on what I feel like at the time. For facial scales and the scaling on their limbs, I like to do rows of half triangles to show ridges of scales. I think Icewings should also be super spiny and sharp. Speaking of spines, here's what I'll do for them. I like to imagine Icewings with 3 rows of spines, so when I draw them from the side you can usually see 2. One short row that's only on the top of the back of their neck, and then the main row that goes down their entire spine. I give them longer spikes around the back of the skull, over the hips, and the end of their tail. This works well to keep spines from poking into each other when I draw Icewings standing in the kind of standard pose that I usually use. Another small note, I like to give Icewings rather slitted eyes. I think it makes them look sharper and more deadly, and it suits my Icewing vibes perfectly. Anyhow, when it comes to coloring, they can be pretty fun actually. This is surprising since, like the Nightwings, they're kind of a one-color tribe, so there's less room for variation. However, you still get plenty of color variation in blues, purples, pinks, grays, and other colors. I think blue, purple, teal, and variations thereof are most common, but I've seen some really good Icewing designs that use pink or gold or amber colors too. Especially after we got that gorgeous Book 14 cover. Come to think of it, I've never seen a green tinted Icewing. That could be cool though, like a mint-themed design maybe? Anyways, I like to spice up my designs with patterns. Markings, stripes, freckles, spots, gradients, whatever. I mix in darker shades of colors too to help get away from the plain white base of it. So when you're picking your colors, try to branch out a bit. Get outside your comfort zone. I see so many Icewing designs that are just variations of gray with no color, or just 3 different shades of the same boring blue. So try something new. Do a purple to teal gradient on the wings, or a gradient of stripes, or something like that. Color choices can make or break a design. My final tip for drawing Icewings is be sure to recolor your line art. With any design that's composed primarily of light colors like these guys, it's important, if you have thick line art like I do especially, to recolor it lighter. And shading can help with this too. If I have a pure white dragon, and then I color the lines purple and do a light purple shading, suddenly this dragon doesn't look white, he looks purple. So remember that the color you use for your shading and line art can help push a drawing too. Sometimes when I'm drawing a blue dragon and I want just a hint of pop, I give them purple lines and shading for that extra little nudge. Alright, that's about all the drawing tips I got in me. Go forth and draw some cool dragons. Before I go, though, let's chat a bit about Icewings. Icewings are fascinating to me. Their historical feud with the Nightwings is some interesting lore, and I find their culture really fascinating. I've been wanting to make a video titled Icewing Culture and Why It Needs a Reset for something like 2 years now, and while I haven't had the time to reread enough material to properly do that, I have always wanted to. I think it's crazy that a tribe as rigid as the Icewings has existed for so long without changing those rules. I mean, they weren't very different in Darkstalker's time than they are now, so unless they loosened up and then got weird again, I would say their society has been frozen for a long time. I don't know if you showed up today expecting horrible ice puns, but you're getting them. Okay, but for real, I think it's nuts how long they've been that way. I mean, we saw tribes like the Skywings and Raywings do full 180s in that time. So I think the conclusion I've drawn from that is that the Icewing culture really did freeze over, in a manner of speaking. What do I mean by this? Well, the icewings live in a really harsh environment, and as much as their bodies have adjusted to make up for that, it's still hard to find enough food to go around, find water, build shelter, things like that. And I think that's part of the reason their rules and structure is so inflexible. In a territory that harsh, there's no room for dragons who fool around or cause too many accidents. Think of it like the military. They also have harsh discipline and rigid structure, but that's because in times of war especially, there's no room for error. Icewing culture reflects their environment. Nowadays, I think it may be partially also a homage to tradition and a holdover from their older days. But still, the tundra never loses its bite. Icewings are always going to need to be tough to survive in their habitat. Anyhow, what do y'all think? Is icewing culture a product of their home, and do you think it's necessary for their survival? What might happen if their leadership fell apart, leaving them all to fend for themselves instead of working in coordinated groups? Remember to check out the description for links to my DeviantArt, Redbubble, Patreon, etc. If you enjoyed this video, check out the rest of my How to Draw series. I just have the 3 Pentalon tribes left now, and then these bases will be available for sale as a pack of 10. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.